Technical difficulties. Welcome, everyone. I realized I was mute the entire time. But it is nice to have you here. Welcome to day 2 of Letters Without Borders. I am Brown Girl Interrupting, and I am coming to you live today with artists and workshops and installations, all featured here on Letters Without Borders, which is the presentation and show of immersive experiences on the immigrant experience. And we have a lot of different artistry going on through technology and through traditional art forms. And I'm really excited to actually have some of the creators and the masterminds behind this show. Right now, I'm going to welcome Anne. Hi, Anne.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello, everybody out there.
And so, some of our audience members were not here for day 1. So, tell us a little bit about Letters Without Borders so that they have some idea. And then, what are we expecting on day 2?
So first of all, Letters Without Borders is a huge project that Clara envisioned 1.5 years ago, and we started working on it. It is an immersive show, immersive in a sense that we have audience participation and we have different genres of art and poetry. And we want to talk about immigration, about moving, about feeling at home or not at home, about feeling ostracized or feeling welcome, and what are the reasons for that. And most of all, we want to talk about togetherness. And we want to find all the lines that connect us. And we also want to find all these layers that perhaps we think we're so different, but in a way, these are all things that we all have in common. And so the whole piece and the whole show and the concept is also a journey, an exploratory one. So today, for example, we have workshops and we have people that can create their own poems. And then we will have a finale with an open mic. And everybody who enters the space has to pass our Ellis Island officer, like the real immigration. And I passed too. And this is my new name. So I will read it. My real name in Germany is Anne Wichmann. And what came out here is Anne Wishmat. So I feel like I'm a fairy. I can make other people's wishes come true or something. I feel, but now I have an American name. That is my new identity in my old identity, I guess.
It's an interesting thing to have to change identities as you come somewhere new, as a complex thing to hold, right?
Also, it can be a chance for a restart, right? I could see that some people could see it as a fresh, beautiful new start. And for other people, it might be really hurtful. So it's exciting also to see, how do I change if I have a new name? Can I just be somebody that I rather be and just leave baggage behind? Or does it hurt me because I'm like, oh no, this is not my real name.
Yeah.
I'm very attached to my identity or my name, right? So these are, I think, very, very interesting conversations to have.
Yeah, they're great. And they really get us thinking about the complexities of everything. So I want to go ahead and welcome Clara to the conversation as well. We're going to squeeze us all in here. And There we go. And Clara, do you want to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what your hopes are from the capturing everything today at day two? I know we heard a little bit from Anne about what is happening at the front with Lee and the typewriter and coming into Ellis Island. And Anne shared her name. You have yours as well. Do you want to talk about your name?
Yeah, I have a new name here. My real name is Clara Francesca Pagoni, and here it's Clara Francesca Pagoni, which is wonderful. So I'm getting a new baptism or a new, induction, and like Anne was saying, right, something really beautiful, a fresh start, but it could also be very hurtful, and the sort of complexities of that. But yes, the hopes for today, which we're achieving, is audiences arriving. They're being greeted by Lee, who is playing the character of our Ellis Island immigration officer. You share your name, she types your name, and it has the spelling that comes up as a new spelling. You get a new name, and then you take your name card to one of the 3 workshop stations as almost an introduction to yourself, to choose if you want to do the workshop on Gazelle or the Chinese poetry that Jaeyoung is doing. Karen is doing the Gazelle one, and then we have Johnny Rose virtually doing it with us through a PowerPoint deck for a workshop on poetry called Home, and what that means. So, and then you get taken through into the open mic that will start at about 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today, where the audience get to share the poetry they have created and play with an avatar, which the meaning Anne got cooked up. Can I share with Anne the avatar's meaning? Yeah.
I figured today the avatar could be our new personality that we got from the Ellis Island officer, right? So people come in, they might have spelled the name wrong or not. We don't know. The prompt that Lee, as the officer, has is she's supposed to not ask the people to repeat their names, and she's supposed to type fast. So it might turn out that a lot of people get a new identity today, and they can then impersonate this new identity as an avatar. And the avatar is going to be created in virtual reality, and then via body capture, the audience can actually play with that.
I love it. I love it, and the creativity, but the again, that human connection between errors, human error, right? But also the connection between human experience and how that experience can be so different, as you said, right? It can be exciting or it can be challenging, and you've captured it so beautifully. And there's so many beautiful things we're going to see. I know we're about to look at some of the workshops, and I think here we have one right here. Do you want to? Oh, here we see. Can you tell us a little bit about this particular installation?
Oh, yeah. This is photography by the artist Julia. And she is a migrant from Russia, and she had also a beautiful prompt here in our video installation yesterday, where she introduced herself, saying that she was just very lucky, or she feels very lucky, that she's one of the migrants that could come here to the US to basically fulfill their dreams, right? And really like work as a photographer and do this beautiful work. And these are photographs like showing her path. And this is also something that I would also love to open the conversations about, because not for everybody migration is a beautiful thing. Some are forced to migrate, some have like an economic need, and this is why they migrate, or some are just taken by their family, not in a kidnapping way, but it's basically their kids and the parents decide to move, and they might not want that. Like all those things that can have us end up in a different country. Of course, the one like you actively choose and then you can pursue your dream. This is the most beautiful one, I guess, or a very, very positive one. But I would also love to hear about other people's stories, and we don't want to shy away from difficult conversations around all this, just because it's a reality and it's also a part of our lives.
Well, and I have to say that what you've done with this show is that you've opened the conversation. I know that Clara shared yesterday that many audience members have talked about their own experience, and I see right there, we see Karan has his workshop on ghazals. He is writing ghazals, and those are from Alfaz, his organization, which we see all the poetry in the background, and we have many opportunities to see a lot of different forms of writing today, as well as the audience is going to be able to create their own poems, which I love the connection between their names as well. So thank you so much. And we'll take a look at some things that are going on right now and be back with some interviews of some of these amazing artists that are sharing the complexities of those very different experiences, right, in migration. So thank you so much, Anne. We are so looking forward to this, and we'll see you in a few moments.
Wonderful. Thank you. What to do with it?
All right.
I'm task person.
All right, thank you so much. So I know that we have some more artists coming to join us. Raj, did you want to explain it? We are very informally sharing our stories today. So you will see people coming in and out. And in a few moments, we'll also even have an opportunity to hear from audience members once we see the workshop and hearing of what they're taking away from today's experience and if they were here again yesterday as well. So I'm first going to welcome Raj.
Hello. Oh, where do I sit?
Actually, if you would sit over here, that would be great. Then I got you on the screen.
All right, I will sit over here.
Thank you. All right. Hi, Raj, and welcome. So, let me get you in here a little bit better. There we go. Perfect. So, tell me a little bit about just what your contribution is to Letters Without Borders and what you've been doing with your piece.
Oh, my contribution was pretty minimal. I created a video installation that played yesterday, and I was mixing was old archive footage from the 90s about some immigration reform passed by H.W. Bush, and with photos of when my grandparents came here with my mom and my aunts, and kind of weave that, show the passing of time, and also showing current immigration, like what's going on, not just in the U.S. but across the globe, and it's an issue everywhere. And I gotta mix some 3D elements too to make it look cooler. So
I love that. And I wouldn't say it was minimal because I would say what you brought to me is I noticed that you elevated the policy aspect of immigration, which isn't necessarily as clear, evident in every other piece here, just because there's so much storytelling, right? And so that is a piece of storytelling, is the policy piece. But just going back to the idea of immigration, what were some of the things that stood out to you in perspectives on immigrants in how you captured the film and just in your conversations with your family, as you said, that you captured?
I've noticed a trend of people who have been in this country for the past 30 years, and they came from, whether it's India or somewhere else, and they don't have that same empathy with the current immigration status with people in Latin America. They're saying that we have to stop them from crossing the border, which I thought was, well, their story is not that different from how you came to this country. So, and if they're, especially if they're black or brown, and you're kind of thinking, well, they're like, it feels a little bit like muddled, like doesn't make sense, right? And so that was yeah, that's how I just thought that was an interesting thing. So I'm like, you're an immigrant. Why are you getting mad about the immigrants coming here? And so,
How were those conversations with your family members when you said those things? Were they able to see your perspectives on things?
there are some family members who are not, maybe have said things that they they're a little bit. It's a little, they're not aware of what they're saying, and it's. I have not talked too much about with my family. Sometimes they're very set up in their own ways, and some people do listen, and so I think family members who are closer to my generation have a little more understanding or more empathetic with what's going on today, and so yeah.
I think you bring up some really important points of the story of immigration once people arrive here and settle and get their footing of who we deem to be valuable and invaluable as immigrants, right? Or welcome and not welcome. So that's really powerful. What do you hope for people to walk away feeling and experiencing? Because I know even though it was yesterday, we do see the installation up there again today. What are your hopes for the audience as they're watching it and experiencing it today?
Just that it's an issue not just in the United States, but you look in the UK with Brexit, and you see that going around. It's a global issue, and I just thought it was ironic that there was a Republican president who was saying immigration's our future, and it's kind of, you looked at Republicans today, and they're trying to bust them up, you know, north of here, and then just to ship them back. So it's a very complex and issue all around, and it's a very messy topic too. I don't know what the answers are, but um, it's but I know the problems.
Well, and I think the beauty of Letters Without Borders is that it's not necessarily about answers, but it's asking more questions that we need to ask. And Anne has definitely elevated that, as well as Clara, in terms of what are those things we need to ask. So, just for you personally, how has it been being a part of this show?
Oh, it's been really surreal. I mean, to have your work displayed like that on the projector, and so I knew that was going to happen. So I want to make sure the sound was pretty cool. You know, get it really immersive experience, a little cinematic maybe. But yeah, it's been great to because other videos are very different from mine. So I think that's good that there's variety and everyone has a different way of expressing themselves in art. So that was a big takeaway. Is you know always something to learn.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I love that you had such a mix, as you said. You had some of that AI technology as well as family pictures, and and then you had the actual media footage of George W. Bush talking about the policy of immigration. So I think you have a lot of different elements in it, and I know we're going to see a little bit more of that as we look at some of the things going on. So thank you so much, Raj. And how will people follow you? Where should they find you, and what are some other projects you've got going on?
I have a horror film coming up. Trying to wrap that up. You can follow me on Mr. Rao on the Instagram. Yeah, the picture.
And spell that. Can you spell
Oh
that?
yeah, Mr. Mr. dash underscore Rao RAO. Yeah,
Fabulous.
I don't post that much, but yeah, that's
But I love that, and actually, your Instagram handle is already in our details below in the YouTube description. So make sure that you so follow, and check him out, and you'll be able to see a little bit more of his installation in just a few moments when we have that on our phone. So thank you so much, Raj. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. All right, we're gonna see what's going on in some of the other spaces.
Completing the display now. It's what?
So over here, I see one of our other artists that we're going to be seeing and speaking with soon, Alvaro, is showing this is his art installation. As you can see, it features some images of tents, and we're going to talk to Alvaro in a few moments. Before then, though, I want to bring an individual who is part of making this happen by having the space for Letters Without Borders. So, Tess, would you like to come and have a seat and join us?
The right seat.
Yes, this is the hot seat.
It's
It's
the
not
hot
the hot
seat.
seat. So just introduce yourself. Who are you and what's your role here?
Hi, I'm Tess Howsam. I'm the new artistic director of Culture Lab. And we are so grateful to have Letters Without Borders at Culture Lab. A large mission of Culture Lab's programming is to hold space for stories just like this. So, in fact, also, I know you've been seeing sneak peeks of the way the space is set up, activating both the walls, our theater, the gallery, and it's just a remarkable project. So we're grateful to have you.
Well, I love it, and as you were saying, the way this theater is set up, is that intentional? Like, what is your goal of all of the different shows that come and present here? What are you hoping for that to capture that makes this such a unique space?
Yeah, excellent question. So, Culture Lab LIC, for those who don't know, is located in Long Island City, Queens. And we are in Queens. The borough is the world's borough, right? So that's sort of Queens' slogan. And in honor of that, I also believe that Culture Lab speaks to that as well. We host international, national, and local artists of all mediums. So whether you're a poet, a filmmaker, a dancer, a theater artist, or a fine artist, there's a space for you at Culture Lab. And that's something that's truly unique. And, you know, you don't really find a lot of spaces of this style in a lot of New York. I personally was drawn to this space as an artist initially. So I'm a director and I build immersive theater works. So you move through spaces, they're non-traditional. And so coming to Culture Lab and seeing this, you know, our theater, and then there's 2 gallery spaces, a studio for visual artists, as well as an outdoor stage. It's just this very dynamic living space where there's always a hub and an energy here that you can come to at any time, you know, and you don't have to do anything. You can just show up and enjoy some art and, you know, relax.
I love that, and I have to say, you know, when I heard about Letters Without Borders, I knew that it was going to be immersive, and I knew that it was going to be an experience. But I
Yes.
have to say that your space creates that experience for certain, right? It really is, and just to, you know, to see a little bit about it, you can see how open the space is. Do you want to describe anything
Yeah.
that we're seeing here?
So you're seeing Clara with the one activation, and that's sort of part of our, like right before where we're sitting in the theater. If you went behind her, you would come into the theater where we are. So we're sort of all sharing the same space, and yet activating it and living in it differently, which is, I think, very exciting.
And it's so much like how we live in the world.
Yeah,
So
you know,
very much aligned with the idea
Right.
of the world's city,
borough,
right? The
and
world's borough.
you know, we recently, like this year, we've had artists from Spain and Italy and I'm forgetting, but China, Taiwan, all these places have come to Culture Lab to show their work. And I think that that's truly unique. And a lot of our work and mission is to create space that's accessible. So many of our projects, we hold free rehearsal space and free, you know, to get into Letters Without Borders. It's a gift, you know, it's a donation. It's not a required payment. So we're trying to foster a way that we can build community and support artists as best that we can, while also hopefully raising awareness for the great work that they're doing.
That's a beautiful thing. Art is such a powerful way to tell stories, and I think you've created this beautiful space here. So, just as we're closing out and I say goodbye, and it's so nice to have you here, I would love to know just like what has being a part of Culture Lab been like for you personally? Like, what is this journey of? Because you didn't start as the artistic director; you have come to
No.
this position over time. Like, tell us a little bit about your own story of Culture Lab.
Yes, thank you. I started by coming, I say I found Culture Lab because I feel like many people have this experience of finding Culture Lab. You know, it's sort of I say it's the coolest place you've never heard of, right? So when you do find it, you're like, oh, wow, like this place is wild. They're doing so many different things here. And I came to it as an artist. Our previous performing arts director had come to see a show that I'd built that was set inside of a utility trailer in a box in an abandoned gas station. So she came and saw the show and she said, gosh, you know, your work would be great at Culture Lab. So I came to Culture Lab to check it out as an artist initially. And then through a different series of events, they were looking for an event director, and I've put together many events in New York City throughout my decade plus being here. And so it sort of was a natural fit for me to join an organization whose mission aligns with my own creatively. And then through working here and being a part of the community, just sort of naturally seemed to make sense to step into a role where I could be both creative and organizationally involved.
I love it. Do you have any particular artistic dreams for the space that you are already starting to I see it.
Percolate, you know, you can see it.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've got a lot on our 2023 docket right now, which is very exciting. So obviously keeping to the mission of continuing that international, national, and local community here, connecting, building bridges, and trying to find new ways of also building spaces like this where it can be an activation, right? It can be an immersive experience. Coming from that world, that's something that I feel like we're hungry for as site-specific or immersive artists, finding a home. Because a lot of us create shows in different places repetitively. So finding a way to maybe create maybe a lab or some kind of activation of it in that way, that would be very fun and something that's on my list of things.
I love that.
Yeah.
Lots of great ideas. I'm excited to come back. I'm not
Yes.
from Queens, but I'm excited to come back and see what Culture Lab has. So please make sure you go and check out. Come to Culture Lab, and they can follow Culture Lab.
Yeah, so it's Culture Lab LIC, and it's just at Culture Lab LIC on Instagram, and we're culturelablic.org on if you're looking for our website, and you can get more involved that way. We also are an organization that's run off of volunteers. So if you have, any time to give back to a community of artists and want to help us, keep this space alive, please consider volunteering at Culture Lab. It is one of our major ways of staying afloat here. So
it's
yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Tess.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. And would you mind? I know Alvaro is going to come and speak
yes,
with
why
us.
don't I-
Would you grab him
I
for
can
us so we
absolutely do
can see
that.
that? And we'll take a look at what's going
Thank
on
you.
right now. Thank you so much. All right. So, thank you. And thank you so much that we have some of our Renters Union family here. Good evening, Mr. Jones, 169. Welcome, and welcome to all of our audience members who are here and just checking out this experience of Letters Without Borders. And again, I really encourage you to go to my website, Brown Girl Interrupting, and go and check out the show from yesterday where we had an opportunity to interview many different artists. And today I have another artist joining us. This is Alvaro, who is coming to us with his installation and going to tell us a little bit more about the floating sculpture project that he has created. Please come. Welcome.
Thank you.
It is so nice to have you. So, Alvaro, can you just introduce a little bit about who you are and what you created with your project here at Letters Without Borders?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alvaro Garcia Ordonez, a visual artist from Colombia, and I am here invited by the group to present the performance or art project Migrants 2. This is a floating sculptures project. There are tents where the people or the migrants coming to the line from the countries, and the countries they put in the control line in white towns of tents, like in Europe or like in between Mexico and USA. And then I take the tents like symbol of these dreams to fly, to go to find a better life. And they go in the water because the water is clean and bring, and it's the life too.
It's beautiful. So you took the tents, which often are not always that symbol of rebirth of good things, right? And you've created this beauty of water and rebirth and flow and life. And what inspired this for you, being part of Letters Without Borders?
Because the invitation was because the topic, migrants, movement, objects that moving. And I put these tents in different parts of the Hudson River, Peekskill, Senasquapar, Yonkers, another river in Bronx River, and other place in Westbury Park, and other different parts. The idea is to put in different rivers. I hope I can do it in the Rio Bravo between Mexico and US, because it's the last line where all the people coming from different countries to come here.
Yes.
This is the last river.
And right now, I think our view of the tents and the communities is not always positive right now, right? So that's a beautiful way to change that story. What is your immigration story of coming to America? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. I was born in a small town in Colombia, in Cundinamarca, La Peña, Cundinamarca. It's a sugar cane plantations, and I was grow up in this to help this job to do the panela, the sugar cane brown, the sugar brown. The sugar brown clean. When you cut and you have an infection, you put the sugar brown in this is cut, and the sugar restore the skin and clean the infection. That is a magic thing for this. And then I was at the university to Bogota to study in the National University in Bogota, and then from the National University I was won a prize to Sweden, and then in Germany, and then I stayed in Germany 10 years, and I was learning German in the Heidelberg University, and then after then I was come back. I come back to Colombia, and one sister was here, my brother is here, and I was to visit them, and in that time, my sister was doing the the visa for here, and that the lawyer, Canadian man, very nice, asked to me, bring next time your portfolio. I want to see what you do in Europe, and then I bring it. That's it. He say, you can do the alien of extraordinary ability. Can I do that? Then I said, and I become this residence. Then I stay here, and then I come to New York for 7 years, and I work at the schools, Yonkers Public Schools. I do art with students.
Nice. That's lovely. I hope they got to see some of your projects. I think I'm sure there'd be so many connections between some of these, particularly the floating sculpture project that you have. So thank you so much. I think we're going to be transitioning now to a show. So I am going to have us. Thank you so much, Alvaro. We appreciate you joining us. I'm going to put us to a commercial, and then we will be back with a show for you to watch. Hi, my name is Maria, but you are soon going to know me as Brown Girl Interrupting. And what I mean by that is that very soon, hopefully, you're going to be following my blog. I am a writer, and I started writing because I was married, I had children, and then my life changed when I separated, and I did a lot of learning and reflecting and growing in that process of change, because change always leads us to that. And I've decided to share that with the rest of the world, because sometimes hearing that someone else is going through the same thing as you, or understanding and putting words to the feelings and experiences we're having, helps us to heal from them or grow from them or learn from them. And so that's what my blog is. It's writing about life, healing, relationships, parenting, dating, marriage, pain, love, mistakes, growth, and coming out whole still in all of it as a human, flawed, but always open to new things. So that's my life, that's my journey, and it's written in this blog. But my hope is that you are going to go to www.browngirlinterrupting.com and join and subscribe to the blog and read all about my story to help you maybe gain some perspective on yours.
I'm gonna get everyone to introduce themselves today.
Okay.
It's very
Okay.
very ad hoc today.
Okay.
Thanks. So it's ad.
No, A.
That's cool. All right, cool.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today. It's very special. We're having a couple more poets from the Tamquan train coming over. So once they arrive, we will start. But I think we can get rock and roll in a little bit. I want to say a big thank you to Culture Lab for hosting us here today. And to all the amazing artists that led the workshops today, Karan Rathod, Jayam Lee,
I come to steal your soul. I come. I come to steal your soul. I come. Okay, now your voice. I come to steal your soul. I come.
I come to steal your soul.
I come. I come to steal your soul. I come. Say the poet.
We are Hallelujah. All of us, Jeremy,
Well, I guess you all guys to come this Wednesday.
Yeah.
To come this Wednesday to the Public Poetry Club at 7. Because we are, all of us, poetry fighters, because we love poetry. What do you think about life, about love?
About poetry.
You are very excited, no?
Quiet.
Okay, ready, Sunday. I won't be in my sofa, but no.
Change the
You must
world.
be here. This is poetry because we are poetry fighters. We hate the sofas. Sunday. Burn the sofas. Destroy sofas. All the sofas go to the trash. Because we are poets and we are alive and we are in New York. Sí, estamos vivos, estamos aquí.
I come from my sofa.
Okay, you find this. It's a performance looking for the poem. It is amazing book of the poetry fighter.
And I'll tell
Dime que has venido y te diré quién eres.
me who walks with you, and I'll tell you which your path is yours.
Dime quién te acompaña y te diré cuál es tu camino.
Tell me your argument, I'll give you a mask.
Dime cuál es tu contienda y te regalaré una máscara.
Not far enough.
Dime dónde has dejado tus miedos y la respuesta es no lo suficientemente lejos.
Tell me the grass is here, and I'll tell you you wear too many clothes. Tell me what food you like, and I'll plant the seeds in the fields.
Dime quién te viste y te diré, llevas demasiada ropa.
Tell me a poem, and finally I'll know I'm alive. Poems are not said.
Dime cuál es tu alimento y plantaré semillas en el campo. Dime un poema y sabré por fin que estoy vivo, que los poemas no se dicen, ni se leen, ni se recitan, ni se apilan en estanterías.
You notice when they stepped on bookshelves, they burn your lips and soak in the sweat of your face.
¡Arde! Eres sudor de mi
You
pecho.
are the night, oh, you are the day.
Emiten luz y reflejan luz.
Carrier of the light or reflected light.
Tú eres la noche o tú eres el día.
A blinking person or at the height of incandescent determination.
Portadora de luz o reflejo de luz.
They wait the longer the fall, getting up to be faster than the same.
Persona parpadeante o plena tu apogeo de determinación incandescente.
Wanted alone, but escorted always. So that's what I think you are, at least. Accompanied if
You are my family, and all of you fit into 8 letters, A-L-L-O-F-U-Y-O-U.
Será más larga la espera que la caída. Será más corto el levantarse que la vergüenza. Será solo si dejas que sea. Sola si quieres que sea. Solo pero mejor acompañado. Siempre. O eso creo yo, al menos. Acompañados. Mi familia sois vosotros. Sin 8 letras cabéis todas y todos.
Hundreds of thousands of universe fit in my brain, and in your hundreds more.
Nunca dije no a nada. Nunca dije que mi ala tuviese piernas, lo cual es imposible porque viene del mar. Nunca dije nunca tantas veces, y solo ahora veo que en mi cerebro caben cientos de miles de universos, y en el tuyo, otros tantos. Dime pues, ¿cómo encontrarnos?
Tell me in which direction the keys are turned.
Dime cómo sabré hacia qué lado se giran las llaves.
Tell me that there's a future for my children.
Dime que hay un futuro para mis hijos.
Tell me that if I stop eating beef, global warming will end.
Dime que si dejo de comer carne, acabará el calentamiento del
Someone
planeta.
who loves the ocean fills it every morning with trash.
Dime por qué alguien que ama el océano lo llena de basura cada mañana.
And finally walk nude on the streets without shocking anyone.
Dime cuándo podremos por fin
caminar desnudos por la calle sin que nadie se asome.
The sun burns in the thermonuclear towns, and I feel that cuddling is the best gift. The moon is mortally wounded, and I wouldn't know who will draw the tides. Will it be you? Maybe us.
El sol arde en lenguas termonucleares y yo siento que dormir abrazados es el mejor de los regalos. La luna está herida de muerte y no sé quién atraerá ahora las mareas. ¿Lo harás tú? Tal vez vosotros.
Together I grow, and I believe myself capable of everything. Together, separate, we will sink in the sand in the orchestrated silicon of an algorithm that's so perfect that we forget to bookmark and time to love each other.
Juntos, together, me crezco y me creo capaz de todo. Juntos. Separados nos hundiremos en las arenas, en el silencio orquestado de un algoritmo tan perfecto que se olvidó de agendar hora para amarnos.
The sun is so far away from the earth that it will not arrive on time to dry her tears, and we will drown in a salty Antarctica that will call out at the door 5 times.
Tan lejos está el sol de la tierra que no podrá llegar a tiempo de secar sus lágrimas y nos ahogaremos en una Antártida salada que llamará a la puerta 5 veces.
The first time is because fertilizing infinites is not a primate's pastime. The second is because love dies out if you don't take care of it every day. The third is because we don't own anything, not even ourselves. The fourth is because the air you breathe is only water that decided to traverse the world and ended up constructing refuge in our lungs.
La primera, porque verticalizar infinitos no es pasatiempo para primates. La segunda, porque el amor se apaga si no lo cuidas cada día. La tercera, porque no somos dueños de nada, ni siquiera de nosotros mismos. La cuarta, porque el aire que respiras es tan solo agua que decidió recorrer mundo y acabó construyendo un refugio en tus pulmones.
Beat you have revertebrates throughout and beyond the galaxy and returns amplified in a systole and diastole cosmic exercise that, in a way, you still can't grasp, saving us.
La quinta, porque cada uno de tus latidos reverbera hasta más allá de nuestra galaxia y vuelve amplificado en un ejercicio de sístole, diástole, sístole, diástole.
The systole, the diastole, house me to continuing dreaming, to continue growing, to continue burning, poems on lips, soaked in sweat of your
Seguir
bed.
soñando, seguir creciendo, seguir ardiendo, poemas en los labios, empapados en el sudor de tu lecho.
Thank you, friends. All right, now we've warmed up the room with words. Come on! Do you come to the Bowery Wednesday? What time?
7.
7. And it's a list, right? You like line people up. And
Esa list, you can come, bring something, put on the list. Listen, enjoy, is going to come Mónica de la Torre.
Super, big names, big poets. Yeah.
Poet. We are doing community about poetry. Lyrics here in New York. Thank you so much for coming. This amazing Sunday, raining Sunday, but we are here.
Some more
The
poetry.
short on the sofas.
Now that the room is warmed up with voice and movement, we're going to invite our featured artists, Lee, Karen, and Jo-Young. Who would like to go first? Who's feeling it? We're doing very formal today, round table. There's no formal lineup. Yes? No? Yes! Welcome, Karen! Welcome to the stage!
Go home, don't stay. Go home, don't stay. New soil, old ways, I crave those days, have hopes of fame. But your skin, it's stained with hues of pain when my truth is disdained. My truth is disdained. Go home, don't stay. Go home, don't stay. Until I fight to buy some promise, to give to myself, winning days, losing years, until I felt no pride, no help, when my skin's not stealth, My sovereign is not my wealth, and my crave for home is made up alone. When your tongues don't match, and you can't express, no words, their food, no noise, all stress. No need to believe, no crowds, no mess, all cry sunrise, the minds to rest. When you try to find your eyes instead, time flies, realize you grind to death. To the unknown alone, a life unchanged. Push my extent, not my strength, when it feels the same. I crave those days. Come home, don't stay. My truth is disdained. Come home, don't stay.
Yeah, I hope we wake up the space with deep reflections and we all leave here tonight a little closer, a little more compassionate, a little more perceptive to one another. Thank you for sharing that piece, and thank you for the poets you grew in the last 30 minutes. I'm excited to see the gazelles that are coming up soon. I'd like to call upon next Lee Ajayong, who's feeling it. Okay, Lee! Lee Fisher the stage! Victoria Fisher, woo! No, not Betty. Do you want the stand? I should be good with that.
Hello, everybody. So one thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit is I recently learned about one of my relatives who actually came to America even before Ellis Island opened. And she was only 12 years old. Her name was Carmela Amen from Paola, Italy. And her story for coming here isn't the beautiful romantic one that we try to look for in our pasts. She was actually sold by her family in Fort, and she was sold to marry a man who was 17 years her senior. And when I learned about this, it just kind of struck me because I actually started working when I was 12, and even though I'm here in New York now and so happy to be here, it's a lot of the time we have these things in our past that are difficult or that we're not proud of. And a lot of the time, living poorly or being stuck in poverty, it's not this simple, beautiful kind of thing that you sometimes see in the media. And those are some of the things that went into this poem. So let's dive right in. She was sold. She was just 12 years old, and she was sold. Shipped across the sea into the arms of a man old enough at that time to be her father. We want to find love stories when we flip through the pages of our personal history, but so often time is not so kind. She was 12 years old, and she went on to have 14 children. She lived out her days not so far from here in the Bronx. And considering all the places that I have lived, half a dozen small towns you'd never know, Neptune, Baltimore, Brooklyn, and all of the names that make me feel that this place isn't so far from where she was. When I think back to her, I think she might be sad to know that I started working at such a young age, similar to how she came here. I was scrubbing boats under the harsh sun at age 12 while she was coming here across the sea. But I'd like to believe if she saw me here today, she might feel like the agony that she endured might just have been a little bit worthwhile. Thank you. And I'd like to read one more. This one's a little bit more true to my life. When I was still too short to see over store counters and check out conveyor belts, I knew even then that I was a burden, not a prize, that I was an accident, not a gift. And when my mother, juggling so many secrets and lives, carelessly spilled coffee on me, nothing frustrated those youthful fists more. Oh, how I detested that odor of burnt coffee brewed in a cheap drip machine from the fluorescent halls from Walmart. Oh, how I hated that sticky residue left by milk and powdered creamer, and the carelessness revealed in how often this happened. The odor would cling to me and stain those dainty white and pink clothes of childhood. And perhaps that was really what upset me the most, was the way it kept happening so carelessly. This was not a one-off event, but now, so many years later, when I spilled black coffee with just a dash of sweetener, carefully brewed, carefully measured, because I learned to care for myself, even though it wasn't a lesson that I was taught. It was something I had to learn for myself. But as I spill this coffee in the entryway of my Brooklyn walk-up, juggling recyclables and all the junk needed to seize another day, I pause and I remember her. But at least this coffee only hits the floor and not a child I didn't ask for. Ah, how similar we still are. And I'm just going to read a very quick. Alrighty. I always hate to say that summer is over, and I refuse to admit it until the ocean chills you to the bone, and Hades calls loudly enough to Persephone for her to hear him over that crash of ocean waves and the gentle breeze of wildflower summer wind. I run from those cold days of winter until Persephone herself is brought back down. And I try so hard not to accept the dwindling light of another year fading. But then, when things become quiet, when the city starts to sleep, and everyone feels that joy of new opportunities, that is when I remember the beauty of these passing days.
Read Victoria Bishop. So we're going to take a quick commercial break to say, Lee, wait, give it the mic for me, because you have a typewriting situation that you do in Central Park, Parsec Park, the parks.
Yes, so I am a street poet, so I do street poetry usually in Union Square Park and Washington Square Park. And I'm going to be here after this open mic with my typewriter, so please come up. I would love to write a poem for every single one of you. You can give me any kind of stuff.
Awesome, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a really wonderful weekend of poetry, immigration themes, and conversation. And Karen, you've got alphas.org, is it? Yeah, you can jump up and share some information again.
All right, so yeah, Alphas, you can follow Alphas at Alphas Collective on Instagram. If you submit your work, which I encourage everybody to do so, that's the whole ethos of Alphas, is to bring everyone together and actually write more. It's www.alphascollective.com/write. And submit your stuff and we'll work together.
Beautiful, thank you. And it's not just poetry, it also be essays or
reflections, short stories, essays. We've got a bunch of programs and workshops that Clara's been part of, and a few other people have been part of as well. So that's going to happen on an ongoing basis. So keep an eye out for that. And a publication that we're aiming to get out in April, working with an artificial intelligence artist based out of Santiago, Chile.
awesome. Thank you, thank you. Round of applause. This commercial break is to get anyone who's feeling nervous, but they have to do their poem any second now. Just a little bit more breathing time, grounding time. Good news, gravity's got your back, so nothing can go wrong. All you have to do is read out that beautiful piece of paper that you did in one of the workshops. And our other workshop with Jiaoling Li, I'm going to ask Jiaoling to join us on the microphone if you feel like sharing a nice poem with us, and we'll do a commercial break about all the great things you're doing after that. So please join me in welcoming Jiaoling to the stage.
Really just like poetry is MR thing, massage my ear, and I feel so comfortable. Yeah, but my poem is a bit more painful. Yeah, so you have to suffer it right now. So this poem is about New York City. It's a letter for New York. It's about New York is so dirty, but everyone still loves living here. Letter for New York. Hudson River just completed its flagship, waving to the undocumented passers-by who listen carefully to their prospects. How many times buildings in flame are erected like excuses? How many times immigrants imagine themselves as scaffoldings, ugly but important? Endless constructing and noise. Okay, the traffic is never going away. In the Holland Tunnel, New Jersey asked Manhattan lying next to her, who are we and what is our relationship? Days are woven into sandals by unnamed authors, and rare minerals in our eyes are sold at the Union Square Farmers Market. As you see and unsee, 6 out of 7 days in New York are haunted by dyspepsia. What makes the office indigestible is you. Dear, we like you, truly, sincerely, unconditionally, but the Empire State Building and the UN are chopsticks unmatched. Between them, they scrunch up the sun, the Manhattan Henge, and pass it over to the Central Park Zoo. New York Times rubber connecting inquiry, who is stealing the breaths of others? Relax, my islanders, on Staten Island, Roosevelt Island, and Coney Island. Let go of your accent, your fatigue, on your costume of failed countries. Cheers to the modern love we all hold in hand. Raise it above our brows and pour it away into the glowing East Village basement, fermented with human bodies and Xanax. We want to observe them carefully, this nature and science, cited in the Revolution, Humans, Rodents, and Kinship, PDF, but not be inducted into the newest collection of the Metropolitan Museum, but the collector's eyes is still glassy. Not every pumpkin on Asia can jump like Cloudbush Brothers. Night, the only friend I had, sipping Benadryl ceaselessly from the evening air with his long, slender fingers. Then my company's selves would rewrite the orange pillbox, strangling the time chopped in Washington Square Park. Our memories brought from the fountain counterclockwise. The lunatics I was afraid of, perhaps they want very little. To occupy some truths, some authorities, in the sewer, for example. Achieving this, they resemble the MTA, permanently running to hide their endless dysfunction. 50 nerves swing all night but still wake up early, propping up a golden promise on the tower of the Brooklyn Bridge. The vast shadows have already sent magnificent narrow for the well-fed those in the financial district, till every branch of the nerves is turning into flashlight of the uncertainty. Everything you have now can be taken away. Only in Flushing, Queens, life questions are deliciously unanswered. The unanswers have driven us in its shadows, traversing Chelsea, traversing the West Village. Even on the demure Fifth Avenue, New York is still squandering its flower to tenaciously bury my sorrow.
Can you share about the business, or you can come up and ask you about it later?
I run a business. The status is for profit, but what we do is non-profit. Yeah, so we had a speakeasy bookstore in Jersey City, and the name is Accent Sisters. If you are interested, just follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, it's really, really phenomenal art. So thank you. I'd like to look what we have there. Okay, friends, I'd like to invite you to look at your bottoms in the seat. Yeah, we're gonna get physical. And then raise your arms up in the air. Everybody's arms up, please. Yeah, super. And stretch up to the heavens and drop them down. The open mic is now live. Who would like to go first? Because I don't know. Okay, great. Get a hand in the audience. So welcome to the stage. You're gonna tell us your name. If your poem has a title, you're welcome to share it, and then grace us with the words. When you're ready.
1, 2. Okay, great. artist's name is ANS, All Natural Substance, Ain't Nothing Sweet, Queens native, Rockaway. And I have a piece I would like to share. Okay. Let me start where we left off at, Revelations. Let heaven be my final destination. From salvation, this information come from God, observation. Here's a protest who's going to pass examinations. Only a small group of population willing to keep their determination through the God stagnation. If you look and feel hard enough, you can see and feel inflation. Not only the urban feel a sensation of a beastly gravitation, abomination. Soon to hit every station, frequency mentally. They got to seize on plantations, working for years, hoping American reparations. And can you bend today's situation? A new generation with education and communication. That's why separation with positive elevation. The world is sick. We need an antidote, not an okie doke doctor operation. Here in other nations, long graduation. Hopefully we can live past through the complications. It's like once you be good, a week later, your assassination. Why doing the right thing has hesitation? Most everybody got wrong concentration, beat the invasion, manipulation to a certain race, gotta get some more clarification. Who started civilization? True king and queen foundation. Documented, actually fact, not an imitation of an imagination. Thank you. You can follow me on Instagram at Good God ANS.
Good God ANS. Thank you, Good God ANS.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us
This
tonight.
is therapy for me. My mom's a poet. I got a lot of good friends that are poets. And I'm a poet if you don't know what that means.
Thank you for joining us. Woo! Thank you so much. Okay, who's next on this wonderful night of mic? Raise your hands. Let's go this way. Let's follow ANS. That lovely Deborah. Do I see Deborah over there? Yes, welcome. So give us your name, and if you participate in our workshop, feel free to share the little insight on the workshop and then share.
Do I do from here?
No, we're all coming to the mic. Yeah. Welcome. Woo! But this is your first poetry recital, right? Yes, there's.
Thank you. I'm going to recite one that I did in the traditional Chinese workshop, which was really fun experience. After winter year, sun lifted on the middle of submerged fear and flooded towards the stars. She, yes, shorter, has not a protector. Yes, always in the morning, she takes her door through her cheer.
You just wrote that, right?
It's like the translation, opposite word thing. Really cool.
Awesome. Very good. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, who's next? Who's next to Deborah? I can't see. Is that an Elena I see? Wonderful. Okay, Cynthia, your name, and please feel free to get right up close to that microphone. The microphone wants your words.
Hi everyone, my name is Elena, and I'm going to do the poem that I did with Claire. I am the insatiable hunger of desire. I live within the space between. My home is my presence. In an exhale, a whisper, a touch.
Amazing magic this afternoon here in Queens. Who's next? Anyone else on that side? Madame? No? Okay. And we're coming around to Karen. Who's next to you? Who's around you? Joshua. There's other people's names after this point, so I can't call on people. Okay, Joshua, your name, and this is your first poem?
Yeah, I've never written poetry before. I think yesterday Karen convinced me to be at this.
Microphone wants your
I've
words.
never written before, but the wonderful people here convinced me to come today again after coming and attend Karen's workshop. And so he got us, here are two. Here's the first stanza of a ghazali that he taught us, of a ghazal that he taught us to just write on the spot. Yeah. Sun stands high in the sky, heaving blood. Sand strong blows to me, calling blood. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. All right, who's next? Someone next to Josh? Someone about that? Good, sir. I didn't get your first name. Yes, come down. Welcome.
All right. Often I have a need to be hyperactive, but these poems make me want to be grounded, so I'm going to put that into the room too. Would you like the microphone taller?
Yes.
Okay, I can.
So, name and poem? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. But did you write a poem today?
I did enjoy the workshop though, so thank you, Karen. And everybody here. My name is David Nazario, and my pronouns are he, him. And I'm gonna do a piece called Peace, Light, and Love. So it feels like there's a lot of peace, light, and love in the room. Is that cool? Cool. All right, so it's a call and response. So y'all gotta get involved a little bit. Repeat after me, I am peace.
I am peace.
I am light.
I am light.
I am love.
I am love.
I am the peace that holds the block out of the gun. I am the light showing you are the one. I am the love to remind you that there is always two. So be careful what you think about me, because what you think about me, you really think about you. Because I can be peace of that karma that comes back to turn your light blue. And yeah, I shine bright, so turn off the lights and watch what I could do. But you know it's all love when I'm talking to you. I'm really talking to me. That creates peace in my heart, and it helps me be free. Because when I saw the light, I had to die 3 times just to be me. So now it's love, 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 and that's all I could see. I said that's all I could be. So take a piece of this poem, like fruit from a tree. I'm talking about the light inside of you, let it shine bright as could be. That's how you make love your religion. Are you following me? First you start with love of self, that's how you get to the peace. I wrote a book on it, but listen, don't listen to me. I'm not the light nor the one, but like Jesus, I'm a son, and I love myself, so I let myself shine like one. Yeah, that's the mantra that sparks the peace in my heart. Now let's bring it back one time from the start. I am peace. I am light. I am love. That wasn't y'all screaming to the heavens above. I am peace. I am light. I am love. Thank you. You can follow me on my Instagram. I share my poetry there. It's just my name, David. My last name is Nazario, Nazario. I'm the number 1.
All right, thank you, David. Thank you. Who's next? Who's in the workshop? Gentleman next to Josh, were we in the workshop?
We were, but just not comfortable yet.
You got it. Person next to the lovely person next to Josh?
Also not quite comfortable yet, but.
You got it. And the next person. No. Do you want to come up together and share the space and say the poem? No worries. A friend behind. No, not yet. Okay. A friend sitting up there. Yes. One of you, both of you, together? Okay. Welcome. What was your first name? Ochidaya, welcome. Please join us at the mic, please.
Hello. So, Ochidaya, did you join us at the workshop or?
No, sir. Do you have a poem for us?
I do.
Great. Welcome. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do this without reading it. Okay. Natives on reserves, blacks and projects. To protect our conscience, we stay in the back like hoods irrelevant, not a factor, invisible, nor a concept. If speaking smart means I'm white, then what's the context? What's it mean to talk black? Now that's a real concept. Made like lab rats, giving food and drink, that's utopia. Will be robbed and steal like Mongolian to utopia you up. No peace parts around here, we don't scroll just scripts, legit, we follow ordinance. Indians never gave what they took, that's a bait and switch. The red man had forks in his mouth, connected bait and dip. The hogheads done brought the grill out, but we don't need gates for this. We just toe tag because we tight glass, so we use lap bags. We'll be back until the ultimate redeemer comes back for his bloodbath. And sit back and have a kiki, probably a laugh, because we finally seen justice. The scales no longer touched with, crack hands of the injustice, tell faces of cruel masters, change our names to pure madness, locked in cages, turned from lions to real asses, less than donkeys not knowing our real masters. Dancing, bojangles, Negroes to the shot clock, with an extension on the Glock, cocked, hip, loose, limp, change everywhere, but not within. Can I get an amen? Because what we saying just ain't working. Scooping the 2/3 and crabs in a bucket filled with their inordinate blessing. scraping NBA 2K, I'm not done yet. Call to duty, but we're not roused. Where our lions couched before, now they lay on their comfy couches. Surrounded with surround sound, can't seem to get up with. Don't want to fight no more, just a little folding of the hands. Careful, don't wake up Uncle Sam. You've been beat with it. Careful, don't want to wake up Uncle Sam. Food stamps and public assistance, you've been beat with the sweetness of your unproduction. Purple haze has caused mental cotton maze, cotton mouth stitched shut by your impressive utopian cage of injustice.
Is there a way we can follow you and your poetry? Can you do other poetry? Not yet, but soon. All right, let us know when we can. John, are you doing some poetry for us today? No pressure, no pressure, no pressure. Okay, and now we have our guest, Anupam. Do we have a poem today? Is this from the workshop or something you brought in?
Both.
Ooh, both. Okay, welcome. So your name and the title of the poem.
Hi, my name is Anupam. So I am first going to read something I wrote about a year ago. One day this realization dawned on me that I have traveled so many places, but essentially I've always been here in my head. So this is just an ode to my experience of how I navigate my world and perceive this new world that I find myself in. So it goes like, trapped inside the unreal, all my freaking life, giving me visions, coloring my world, my only friend, my last mountain to climb. Glimpses of freedom now come knocking, never be more alive. I'll meet you on the other side. I seek you all my life, met you once disguised, feel the bliss I had only analyzed. Break the illusion, see me in you, no evil, never kind. Empty your mind, empty your mind. That's good, right? And this is 2 couplets I wrote just now with Karan's workshop. And I was surprised that I had always grown up loving ghazals, but I'm surprised that I could write one today. So, here again, I wonder if I have come home, or is it just me passing through some home? Do I look for the familiar or the new, where the heart will be still and blossom home?
Thank you so much. And our friend in the front row, do you have a poem for us? Not today? Does Marcos Jr. want to say a few words? Vanessa, you have a question? No? Okay, cool. Oh, yes. Oh, you're up. You ready? Fantastic. Yes! So just your first name and then take us away.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jerome or JMLJ. This poem I call For a Piece of 3 Sodas. Basically, I was messing with different rhyming schemes. I was listening to Rakim and trying to do his rhyming scheme, trying to emulate it, and I came up with a pretty dope way. So you may hear the same thing many times. So it's called Living soulless through melodies, can't seem to escape these trajectories. Darts of destruction and casualties branded by penalties. Walking through darkness in a state of madness, blinded by rampant craftiness, beat on like an old mattress. With light of my superior, with affliction from people inferior. Remembrance of me, only exterior, controlled by our old word, period. Or I said, living soulless through melodies, walking through darkness, with light of my superior, can't seem to escape these trajectories in a state of madness with affliction from people inferior. Darts of destruction and casualties, blinded by rampant craftiness, remembrance of me only exterior, branded by penalties, beat on like an old mattress, controlled by our old word, period. I say, controlled by our old word, period. Remembrance of me, only exterior, with affliction from people inferior, with light of my superior, beat on like an old mattress, blinded by rampant craftiness, in a state of madness, walking through darkness, branded by penalties, darts of destruction and casualties, can't seem to escape these trajectories, living soulless through melodies.
Not yet, not yet. Coming soon to an Instagram account near you. Friends, thank you so much. Oh, yes, yes. Oh, yes, Nadia, yes, okay. So I'd like you to welcome Brown Girl Interrupting Nadia to the stage. She's been joining us for the last 2 days, which we were so grateful to have you join us. We met at the Queens World Film Festival, a great film festival. If anyone wants to ever participate, check it out. You'll be our closing out number, so when you're ready, take us away.
Okay, so yes, my name is Maria, also known as Brown Girl Interrupting. I wanted to say thank you to everybody who did their poems. Now is the season; they were amazing. I am a writer, and I have 2 poems that kind of capture my journey of healing. The first is called Control. Leaves no trace or scent. Manipulation of words, stealing autonomy of moments, playing judge and jury, twisting an argument until rational thought is buried between accusations and red herrings, policing tone, sudden movements in the depths of breaths taken. Paralyzed in fear of the next move, cautious to not shatter the momentary silence. He has won the war and the spoils, left standing in a pool of confusion, victim and target, riddled with holes from continuous stabs and jabs, leaving no trace, internal scars carved. A destroyed soul is a homeless body. The battle wages beyond the field in mind and soul, destruction and disintegration of self, self-confidence, self-awareness, self-advocacy, bruises of narcissism painful to the touch, invisible to the world. Reclaim and reframe. Clear the fog. The pain is a badge of honor. Lessons carved into the soul, scratched and wounded but not broken. Veering from the original trajectory, persevering with faults and fouls, living so loud the earth cannot contain the sound. Emotions and thoughts handled with care, healing the wounds of the spirit, freedom from prison of the mind. Thank you. So the next one is called Wild Horses. So I would say that was my very first poem when I first left my 17-year marriage. That was very difficult. This was written last year. Wild Horses. The constructs of love and relationships are illusions of grandeur. Containment and achievement has us hooked. Blindly believing we are meant to be tied to others. There's comfort in connection, home found in safety and trust. I believed in it once. Love would anchor me, holding me safe, giving grounding. I would exist without failing. Existing isn't thriving. If tethered to the ground, you cannot fly. Soaring beyond in the adventures of life isn't birthed in traditions. Relationships can be shackles that bound into stagnation. People are fleeting. Nothing stays the same. Growth is inevitable. Countering the narrative I have been fed, I will not venture a planned path, curating expectations of women and motherhood. I am a wild horse roaming freely, running towards my wants and from the limits. My spirit is too intense and expansive to be measured and choked, interrupting the status quo, jumping before looking, reaching to depths unseen. My heart finds peace in uncertainty and possibility, leaping into the unknown. Eyes wide open, hands poised to receive. The universe will hold and cradle my soul. Love is within and shared through. I am not meant to be the story you created, not destined to be caged in restrictions of labels and roles. The world will watch as I roam, leap, discover, and create magic, carrying home within my words and movements, lifting and connecting my soul's tribes. No longer adhering to titles and society's plan. Wild horses are not to be tamed or housed. Constructs are meant to be dispensed with.
Thank you so much. And we can follow you at
Brown Girl Interrupting. www.browngirlinterrupting is my blog and my writing. And I also have Instagram. That you can find me at Brown Girl Interrupting. And
9 p.m. tonight.
At 9 p.m. tonight, I do have a show every Sunday at 9 p.m. called Pain to Power. And it features interviews with others and their stories of pain and coming into power. And tonight, I will be featuring Tasha Brown, who has a podcast herself. Also, hopefully, I'm able to maybe catch some audience members and have some conversations, because I have been broadcasting all of these performances and some of the pieces and the experiences that you all have been having on my channel. And so please come and stop by and visit me.
We're going to be here.
Over there.
If you'd like to come by and so up here, I think that would be wonderful, especially because these poems brought out so much about humanity. I would love people to have the opportunity to talk more. 2 small items to share in the space. So we have Maria's interview, if you'd like to do that. And then if you join me outside, especially for those who did small poems but didn't feel comfortable sharing today, we can make a mini GIF poem if you'd like to take home with you, so you have your poem in digital form. And then I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It was really very special. I'd like to invite you to wiggle your butts in your chair one more time. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Lift those arms up into the air. Twinkle, 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 twinkle. And give yourselves a big hug, because it's brave to not only share in this kind of space, but to sit in this kind of space. So thank you. I hope you all have a wonderful, safe, love, light, and peaceful day. Ciao. Thanks for Terry and Culture Lab.
My world has slowly crumbled around me countless times, and every time I rebuild with the pieces I've been given to birth something so transformational and beautiful that no one else knew might exist before it was shown to them. These moments tend to coincide within my romantic path. The universe has been telling me to focus on the revolution and not romance. It has over time given me the tools, resilience, and light to turn my pain into power. And only now do I see that the key to this always resided in the love and knowing I had in myself, not from the external sources of family or men. The message I have been avoiding might be that my time in this world I had existed in was not to receive love, but to put it out there for others to see, feel, and heal through. Revolution before romance moves pain into power. Welcome back. Welcome back, and hopefully you enjoyed the show. I know there's a lot going on right now, but hopefully you had an opportunity to truly hear some of these amazing poets. You heard some of the poets that came as artists to perform, but also audience participation was beautiful. We had many first-time poets sharing their stories through these workshops. So please make sure that you are following them. Go and check them out on Instagram. Check me out on Instagram as well. And I'm hoping that we're going to have some audience members come and join us for some conversations. So can you get me some audience? Amir is coming. And hopefully you got a chance. You saw ANS, also known as Amir, he shared his poem. So we had a lot of talent here today. And we are getting just a few more people to come over, and I am hoping definitely to catch Lee, who was the typewriter and the poet. She does street poetry. So I'm hoping that I can catch Lee as well, and we'll be able to talk to everyone. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being here, for showing up, for commenting, and please make sure you like, you comment, you follow, and that you subscribe to this channel as well as all the other channels. And check me out every Sunday at 9 o'clock for my show, Pain to Power, where I am sharing stories of others who have taken their experiences in life and turned them into power and help lead the groups around them. So we're waiting on some more people. As we are waiting for some of our audience members to come, as well as hoping to catch, and is it possible to see if we can catch Lee? And is it possible to see if we can catch Lee so I can touch her? And so we are we are going to have an opportunity, hopefully, to be able to talk to Lee soon, as well as hear from some of our audience members. But I do want to say that one of the things that has come up for me, particularly today in this in these conversations. Hi, hello, Marco, right? Welcome. So I am Brown Girl Interrupting, and I'm doing some interviews here. And I just want to know, so you, we were able to capture a little bit of your poem that you shared. Can you speak to the poem itself? It was multilingual, which I always love because I think it's beautiful when people are able to capture their own stories in their own language and mother tongues, right? So tell me a little bit about.
Well, it was 3 poems. It was 3 poems. The futuro es, the future is this, because we are now in the future. Well, we are now in the present, but the future is coming. Then now is the future of our past. No? That's the first poem that I speak about. That is a poem that I wrote in the pandemic. I speak about this, about the cities waiting. All the people is waiting to the pandemic finish it, and we come back to our things, no? Our poetry, our shows, our Be Together. That is happening now, no? Then this is the future. This now is the future of the pandemic, that we are together and we are doing finally things together, no? In live mode. And the other poem is called Alegría. That is a poem that is really a song that speak about our life in New York and how we should be positive, especially in these times, in these hard times. But look, finally, all the times are hard times for us, that we are workers, we are dreamers, we are poets. Then we must fight hard. Then alegría, happiness, alegría, we must look the world, we must look the others, always with a positive looking, and try to be alegres, to be with alegría, no? And the last poem that I wrote with Clara is a poet from the book Poetry Fighters. That is the Poetry Fighters. This is a kind of community of poets in New York and around the world, and we are poets that fight to go with the poetry to the street, to go with the poetry to the people, to take the fear, take the respect, because I think the people respect so much the poetry, like, oh my God, poetry. But no, poetry is for use every day. Poetry is for everybody. Take the poetry. Don't fear the poetry. Use the poetry because it's going to be good for you, for your life, for your friends, etc., etc. Then we want to show that poetry is not only the lyrics on the book. Poetry is a way of life. Poetry is a way to face the life, for do your things, for be kind with the people, for work with passion, for look to the sky and not to the floor, etc., etc. No, and then be a poet is not only write poetry. There is more things, more responsibilities in the life of a poet, and this is one of the things that we want to explain, we want to show to everybody with this community, with this collective of poetry fighters. That you can find us on Google. You put Poetry Fighters, so you come last Wednesday of the month to the Bowery Poetry Club to join with us, and you can find some information of my work. Marcos de la Fuente, poet, Marcos de la Fuente, from the Fountain. Well, it says Bill Pereira be here with you.
I love it. Thank you so much, Marcos. I appreciate it. That was beautiful, and I loved all the poems and all the messages. And you have your own little future right there. The future is here, and very vocal and very vocal. He was a great addition. So thank you, and thank you so much. I truly enjoyed your poetry, your performance. It was beautiful, and yeah. So I make sure that you are following Marco de la
Fuente.
De la Fuente.
Marcos de la Fuente.
Marcos de la Fuente.
No future without poetry.
No future without poetry. Thank you so much. And poetry is life for sure. Poetry is beauty and the world. And there was so much connection here with our poetry. I was hoping to catch one more person, but it looks like we're not going to be able to. We are closing out. It has been a beautiful 2 days of poetry, of artistry, of connection, community, storytelling. I myself have really reflected on what it is to be brown and the daughter of immigrants in this experience. And I hope that you have enjoyed the show, you have enjoyed the interviews, and that you will continue to follow me. Join me tonight at 9 o'clock for Pain to Power for an interview with Tasha Brown, the host of No Hold Backs. And I'll be back again very soon. Good evening, and thank you again for following. And a shout out to my co-producer today, Amir, also known as All Natural Substances, ANS. You heard him as a poet. And to, of course, my producer, Logic. And thank you so much to XRE for being able to host us and to have this opportunity to hear from so many artists and see so many amazing stories of immigration. Make sure you're following everyone. All the links are below. Peace, love, and light. My world has slowly crumbled around me countless times, and every time I rebuild with the pieces I've been given to birth something so transformational and beautiful that no one else knew might exist before it was shown to them. These moments tend to coincide within my romantic path. The universe has been telling me to focus on the revolution and not romance. It has over time given me the tools, resilience, and light to turn my pain into power. And only now do I see that the key to this always resided in the love and knowing I had in myself, not from the external sources of family or men. The message I have been avoiding might be that my time in this world I had existed in was not to receive love, but to put it out there for others to see, feel, and heal through. Revolution before romance moves pain into power.